Hello everybody, welcome to My Sweet Home Living. My name is Tracy Campbell. Excited to be here with you today for a special event called the Woodland Winter 2-day crafting and DIY marathon that you've already probably seen some amazing creations this morning. Well, the day is going to continue today with more creators. Every 45 minutes, a new Woodland Winter themed project coming your way. Just because Christmas is over doesn't mean that you can't still decorate with some winter items around your home. I'm never too quick to get rid of my greenery or my winter berries or snowmen. I mean, I hang on to winter as long as I can until around the end of February. So we still have quite some time to be decorating with woodland and winter themed items. So you will hop on in here and join me today. I have a really interesting project today. Really interesting. So I will tell you that I kind of struggled with this theme. And I don't know, maybe I was just thinking too hard about it. I don't know. But I thought, well, when I think of something that has to do with woodland, obviously I think of, the forest, the trees, branches. And then I think secondary, I think of like creatures and animals and things like that overwinter in the forest. But anyway, I was just thinking, okay, I can come up with a project easy peasy with a lot of natural elements, because if you're familiar with my page, My Sweet Home Living, you know that I love natural elements anyway. So I'm like, okay, I got this. Let's do it. We're going to do a woodland themed snowman. We're going to be using some real branches here. I've got some threads hanging off here. We're going to be using some real branches. We're going to be using some real mini pine cones and some unexpected items today. The star of today's project is something that doesn't necessarily grow in the woods, but is wild in the theme of nature. It grows in the wild, okay? So, good morning. Hello. You all hop on in here and let me know where you're tuning in from. I can't wait to see who is here today. And we may have lots of new friends joining us today. So if you are new here to my page, please let me know. And if you like what you see, I would love it if you'd stick around. I go live about once, sometimes twice a week. But I would love to have you here on my page, My Sweet Home Living. Hello, Miss Sparky. Hello, Miss Tammy. How are you? Miss Penny. Oh my goodness, you guys, take a look at this. This is what we're using today. We're thinking outside of the box here. We're using some of the natural woodland elements with the twigs, the branches, the pine cones. But then we're also throwing in a natural element with this gourd. I don't know how this is going to turn out, you guys. So, full disclaimer, if this flops, I gave you fair warning. We'll have fun doing it anyway if it does, but if not, if it is a success, then we'll chalk it up to a really cool project. So y'all hop on in here and let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm going to be catching in some of your comments. Hello, Emma and Zena and Sina. How are you guys? I'm so excited. It's been a while. It has been a while. So I don't know, about probably 2 years ago, I guess it was, I was lucky enough to find someone in my area that had some gourds for sale. And I was thinking, they were moving and they had some extra gourds to get rid of. And my dog is hacking over in the corner over there. I don't know what that's about. Sorry if you overheard that. But I grabbed them for like really cheap. And so sometimes you can find some in your area. Some people might sell them on Marketplace, or you might look out and grab them at some kind of like yard sale or something. But I grabbed 3 of them. I have worked with one of them, turned it into a jack-o'-lantern. This one, we're going to turn it into a snowman. We're going to turn it into a snowman. You love gourds, Rachel? Oh my goodness. Now listen, I admire those of you that can paint, but I'm just going to be here and tell you I can't paint very well. I can. Everybody can paint, right? But I'm just being real and being honest that I'm not a good artist when it comes to painting things. And I know some of you probably can create some beautiful masterpieces using gourds. I've seen some gorgeous, absolutely stunning things made from gourds. I'm just not wired that way. So I gotta kind of think outside of the box and use it in a different way, right? Good morning, Miss Carrie. Hello, Christy. Love the gourd. Okay, well, we're gonna be using the branches and we're gonna be using the pine cones and lots of earthy elements. I even have a wood slice around here somewhere. So lots of woodsy elements that we're going to combine with this gourd to make it a woodland snowman. But first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get a little bit of white chalk paint. This has been stored in my attic. I did give it a wipe down, but just with any kind of natural, item, it still, it has its own nicks and bruises and bumps, and I do kind of want to keep the same natural coloring effect to it because that's just me. I'm natural, I'm rustic, I like things that look old and vintagey, but I do kind of want to give it a little bit of maybe sort of a whitewashing effect, maybe is what I would call it. So I'm going to take a little bit of off-white chalk paint, and I have some really saturated baby wipes. I probably should have brought a little bit of water over here to the table with me, and of course I forgot that. But I'm just going to kind of dampen my wet wipes with the paint, and then I'm just going to kind of brush over it to give it just a light, so almost like a dry brushing, but with it being wet, I'll be able to kind of smear it around, I think. I think this is a one-of-a-kind piece, guys. I've not done this before. This is all an idea that's kind of been unfolding in my head. I've had it in the back of my head for quite a while, and in order to make it work for today's theme, I kind of reworked it in some ways that I wasn't so sure that I don't know how it's going to turn out, kind of thing. So you all hang with me today, and we'll see how it turns out. I don't want to take away from the coloring of, the natural color of the gourd. Now, when you wet it, it's going to automatically darken the color of the gourd anyway. But you could see how light it was before I started. You can see kind of how light it was up here at the top, and it will dry, and it will get that light color back after that moisture dries from the wet wipe that we're wiping on here with the paint. And I don't want a solid coat of paint. I just want a wash look, okay? Just a tint. And I can see that it's already doing that, so I'm good. I don't want a ghost effect, but you could definitely turn this gourd into a ghost if you wanted to. I've seen some beautiful, beautiful ghosts as well, some cats, all kinds of things. Owls, of course, Santa Clauses are super popular. And every once in a while, I'll come across a really cute snowman. But I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try this and see how it goes today. So I'm just bringing you along for the adventure. And that way, if it flops, or if maybe I can give you some pointers on what to do or what not to do, if you want to try this on your own, perhaps. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna give it a real quick dry. I think I'm satisfied with that. Now, you guys, look at this gourd. I was trying to think, okay, what am I going to use for the eyes, the nose, and all that jazz? We're going to dress it up so cute. But look at that gourd. It's kind of got what kind of looks like, hold on here. It kind of looks like it has 3 eyes right now. But I think it's just the way my paint, there we go. But does it not look like it has 2 little eyes right there? Not like whimsical, little shapes of little eyes that are kind of like angled. We're going to play on that. We're going to play on all the natural wrinkles and bumps and cracks and all of that. We're going to just take it in stride, and we're going to actually use that for his little eyes. We'll deepen and darken those little crevices. And I'm using a product today I've never used before, but I think it's really going to work out. Let me show you. I grabbed this a while back. They had some little sample packs. Okay, my camera, is it backwards? No, it's not backwards, is it? It's backwards to me. Model Magic, okay, it's Crayola. I grabbed some little sample packets of these at my Walmart, and it's white, okay? So I have created some little items that we're going to be using with this snowman today that I think are really going to be cute, so I can't wait to show you. I'm just going to give this just a little bit of a dry, so, okay, I kind of have some little clumping right there, so what I'm going to do is take a wet wipe. Oop. I didn't want to do that. That's kind of wiping it off rather than get a clean part of that wipe, and it'll dilute it. And I just kind of wanted to smooth down that little area right there. There we go. We can work with it again later. And that's just the side of him. Let's give that a quick dry. So we're going to be using that Model Magic today to make some really cute accents for this little snowman. And we're going to tie it off with a little heart, all in kind of the woodland theme here. But that way the snowman can kind of cross-pollinate through the Valentine's season too. Hello, Miss Pat. You can see those little eyes. That's right. They're so cute. All the little imperfections. I just love it. I just love it. So anytime you get something like that, you just kind of got to embrace them. All right. So now I have a little wood slice here. Somewhere. Oh, I thought maybe I walked off with it because it wasn't showing up. We're going to use this little wood slice. I could stain this if I wanted to, but really it's not going to show a whole lot. Really what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it onto the base. You guys, I didn't go all the way down to the bottom, but I will do that after we're finished today. I will finish that off because I do want it to be a finished piece, especially if this is something you're going to give as a gift or make and sell. You want to make sure that it's good and finished. So I'm putting some hot glue on there. If you wanted to, you could use any kind of adhesive that's going to be a permanent fix. But for right now, we're going to stick with... now the bottom of this kind of has a caved in section. Let me turn this around and make sure I get this centered. And that wood slice is really just there to give me a little bit of stability because this gourd, it's a little wonky. So we're going to work with it. Dollar Tree and Dollar Tree both have Model Magic. Awesome, Dana. Thank you for telling us that. I did not know that. That's good. That's great. Hello, Miss Teresa. Hey, Brittany. Oh, no problem, Miss Brittany. You're always on time here, even if you're watching the replay. Thank you, Miss Teresa. I think it's going to turn out really good today. Darlene's got to go and be an adult at work. Oh, awesome. Well, thanks for popping in for a little bit. I appreciate you doing that. Okay. Now, we've given it a little base, okay? That little, okay, now this is going to bug me. I've got to go ahead and do this, you guys. I'm going to keep seeing that, and it's going to bug me. Even though it's not going to be visible to you guys after we stand it up. And I could still finish it after the live. It's going to bug me. So I've got to do it. I keep seeing it. There we go. Now, where'd that little dryer go? Actually, I don't think we have to dry that since we have the base there. That'll keep it upright. All right, so here's what I've got. I used the Model Magic. Here's this again, if you didn't see that, the little Model Magic. I've taken some little pieces of that Model Magic, made a little nose. I've got glue strings on me. I've made just some round balls, okay, and flat half balls, half moons, half whatever you want to call it, half spheres, and flattened them on one side. We're going to use those in a minute. I'll show you how. And mine aren't completely dry yet, but they're about halfway. And then I've taken some little circles, you guys. Now these are hand formed. I don't want anything perfect, okay? I want it to have so much character that I'm okay with this. These little buttons I've just formed with my fingers, and look what I did. Made the rounds and then punched 4 little holes in the center to make them look like little buttons. I've made 3 of those. And then I just made some little bitty tiny little pebbles that I think I'm going to use for his mouth. And then we'll embellish him and turn him into a really cute woodland snowman. Thank you, Miss Debbie. How are you? Oh, Miss Carrie, or Kari. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. Which way? Miss Kari? I don't know. Yes, these little half spheres are going to be earmuffs. So, but what I think I'm going to do with those earmuffs, I am going to... I'm going to cover them, okay? Now, I have some homespun here. Some of my homespun has not been coffee stained yet, okay? Coffee grunged, rather. Either way. But I can do that after I get it on, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these little half spheres here. Let me turn it around because I kind of got to see where his eyes are because I want his earmuffs to kind of be in line with his eyes. See those little circles that we're going to turn into eyes in a minute? I want his little earmuffs to be like right here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I kind of had these shaped on here a while ago. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue these on, even though they're not completely dry. You would probably, if you were doing this and you could use all kinds of different products to make the earmuffs out of anything you want, really, but this is just kind of what I had today. So in the theme of using what you have, that's what we're going to use. Okay, there's one little earmuff. Now, I'm not going to leave them white, okay? We're just putting them on as in place, and then we will embellish them and grunge them up to match the whole thing. Now, let me make sure I get his... He was going to have lopsided earmuffs. Okay, hang on. Sometimes I got to turn this around because... Oh, that could have been a really wonky snowman. Okay, so here's his earmuffs. Now let's go ahead and put his nose on. And what I did is I took a little pinch, glue strings. I took a little pinch of that Model Magic, okay? And I took it and I just started with sort of like a cylinder shape, okay? And then I just kept twisting it. And then as I would twist and push it together. Twist and kind of push it together. And it makes those little bumpy little areas. See how that just looks like a cute little carrot nose? Isn't that cute? Hello, Texas Breeze Creations. New page. I've never met you before. Welcome. You all let me know what your name is if you come in under your business page. I always love meeting new creators and new follower friends as well. All right. I think I'm going to put his nose. Now, here's his little eye specks that we're going to kind of use as eyes. His little nose is going to be a little pointed off to his left. You can do it any way you want. Now, if you have a gourd that has some natural little curves or, you know, areas that lend itself to work in a different direction, I think you could really have some fun with it and make it. Each one's going to be their own character. It really is. No matter, you know, I should have painted that nose first. Oh, yeah, I forgot. We got to paint the nose, so I don't need to put that on there just yet. Rewind. Another thing about a first time, a one-of-a-kind project, you kind of learn as you go. So let me grab my, I have some just, I don't know what color this is. Terracotta. And we're going to give this a real quick paint. And it doesn't have to be anything perfect. I just need a little bit of color on it. And then after it dries, I can shade it or add a little bit of dimension to it, a little shading. But I like this terracotta color because it kind of already has that primitive rustic tint to it. It's an earthy orange. All right. And this is already halfway dry, this Model Magic. You would probably want to go ahead and let it cure. And I don't know how long it takes to actually completely dry. Didn't say on the package, so if you've used it before and already have experience, you may know when it's dry. But otherwise, I would just go by touch. If it's still a little squishy, you know, it still needs some more drying. Okay. There we go. We'll get that painted up, and then we'll give it a quick dry with our heat tool. Now, I still have some areas that it can be covered a little bit more, but I'm not going to worry about it too much right now. I just want to get at least a good color on it, and then I can always go back in and add some finishing touches after we're finished today. But I want you guys to see this project on how it at least comes together. All right, let's put the top on that orange because I will knock that over in a hurry. Hello, Miss Sue. Your niece used to make such cute little... Oh, which I'm telling you, I've seen some really cute little things with Model Magic. I don't know. That takes a person with a lot of patience, doesn't it? I don't know if I could do that. It's so neat to see what people can come up with, though. And, you know, sometimes you never know what you're capable of until you see what someone else has made, and it inspires you to do something of your own. Now, let's see. How do I want that nose again? That one's kind of pointing downward. I kind of want it pointing up a little bit. All right. So my glue stick. I need a third hand. All right, there we go. There's his little nose. He's coming to life, slowly but surely. Now, This is just some torn strings of some homespun material, Red Check homespun. It has not been coffee grunged. So what I'm going to do after I get this on his little earmuffs, I'm going to just wrap this around in a circle, you guys, around the edge of these little earmuffs. And it's going to make him look like he has some little rag ball earmuffs, sort of. I'm just taking it and I'm going to wrap it around and keep going until we get all that little shape covered. And then I'll take a little paintbrush and dip it in my coffee grunge. I've seen some creators using some coffee grunge this morning. It's just a mixture of coffee, cinnamon, and vanilla that's that smells amazing. And it gives your fabrics, any kind of surface, I don't know, like a rustic vintage, what am I trying to say? A tint to, your project. And not only that, it gives it an amazing smell. And it's a subtle smell. It's not anything over the top. Okay, so I'm just taking that and spinning it around in a circle until I get all the way around to the middle. I'm being careful with my fingers this time. I just happened to like bump into that a second ago is how it got me. I wasn't even trying to push the fabric down. I just accidentally touched it. So that's what we have for his first little earmuff, okay? And I still have glue on me. That's probably gonna blister up really good. Whew, Nelly, that did not go good. So it's just a real thin strip right there. Yes, I know we all get glue burns, you guys. I know it could have been much worse. It wasn't too bad. Wasn't too bad. All right, so I just start around the edge of where it connects to the gourd and put a good bead of hot glue, and that'll get me started. And then I just twist it around in a circle. Not gonna touch that. I put a bunch of glue on there, so I'm gonna just twist that around and make sure that whole little Model Magic sphere is covered with this fabric. Now, if you wanted to, if you don't have Model Magic, you could use little foam spheres. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not touching my microphone here. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover this with hot glue and go from there. All right, let's get that on there without touching it with our fingers. With my fingers. All right, this is gonna be cute. Now I am gonna grunge up this fabric because the red and the white is too bright for me, but you could totally leave it just as it is if you want. I know not everyone kind of has their own style to things, and so there we go. There's his little earmuffs so far. Now we have to have a little cord that attaches them, so I'm going to use this wired, what is this called? Wired jute cord. I think this is from the Dollar Tree. That's what we're going to use to put, I don't know, here's my big scissors. Oh my goodness, here we go. I don't know quite how long we're gonna need this. I just forgot to bring my wire cutters to the table. This is some heavy duty, here we go. Heavy duty stuff. I probably really should have stuck that in before. Now, I don't want it to be perfectly straight. I do kind of want it to look a little tattered. So what I'm gonna do, it does have a little wire. I don't know if you can see that. A little wire that pokes out through that. So I'm going to take that and poke it down into that little Model Magic little ball that we have going on there. But before I do that, this thread is wanting to spin on me. The jute is. So I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue and stick it on there because I want it to hold that that jute in place. All right, so let's just kind of eyeball how big, or how long rather, this little thing needs to be. So once again on this end, I'm going to make sure that I have the little wire poking out of there. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of glue on there to keep it in place so it doesn't unravel. Okay, just a little. It's not gonna be enough to even show. Glue strings. This glue is after me today. It is not wanting to work with me. All right, so we're gonna stick that down right here into this little, I've got a little crack in between some of my little fabric strips that I can stick it right down into those little foam balls. I keep saying foam, but they're not foam, but you could totally use foam. I didn't have any little foam balls that were small enough for this. There we go. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be cute. That's gonna be cute. He's already got some character. Okay, now I need, let's think about, I don't know what color I'm gonna do his little buttons, but let's go ahead and let's work on his arms first. So what this is, these are some little branches, and I think I'm gonna do, I'm going to, I think I'm gonna wrap these around his back and bring them all the way around to the front so that it looks like he's hugging his belly, sort of. I know they're gonna need to be trimmed, but I'll glue them really well in the back, and then I'll have to glue them really well in the front as well, and hopefully I may have to steam them or soak them in some warm water to really make them give. I'm trying to see if they'll bend for me without breaking. All right, this one's a little bit long. Let's trim this down. I mean, I want him to have some hands, but not like, I want him to look like Edward Scissorhands. So let's tone his branches down a little bit, shall we? Let's see here, come on. I don't know, that's a little, he's gonna look really crazy. All right, now let's trim this down the length of it. I'm throwing branches everywhere, you guys. Okay, good thing you're not sitting right here at my table with me. All right, so I want these to wrap around his belly like so, okay? Let's see here. So I think what I'm gonna do, you gotta play with them because it just all depends on how your gourd is shaped. And I am gonna have to steam those branches or soak them. But for right now, we're gonna, I don't know. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna soak it in this wet wipe for a minute while we move on to his little buttons and his scarf. Where is my scarf piece? All right. Here's our little scarf piece. Now this has not been coffee grunged either, so you guys are gonna come along with me and coffee grunge this up. I have my bottle of coffee grunge. Now this is my little collection of buttons. We're gonna have to paint those really quick, and I don't know if I'm gonna paint them or I might just grunge them. Goodness, I've got so much stuff on my table, stuff's hiding from me. All right, I'm gonna give this a good shake. Yeah, I got a big clump of cinnamon down there in the bottom. Hello, you loving it, Miss Mary? How are you, sweet friend? So I'm just gonna grunge this up really quick. I would do it on, let's go ahead and do his earmuffs. So I can just take that grunge and that fabric will soak it right up. If you have coffee grunge material already, you would probably want to do this first. But there's ways around it. And I think what I'm even going to do is I'm going to add some of that grunge to the little cording that connects his earmuffs too. Okay, so you guys know that's not completely dry, but you can see the difference. This is super bright white. I didn't get all the way to the edge on this one. Okay, now you can add as many layers of that stain as you want, but my lighting's not, but you can tell the difference. This one, my material is kind of wanting to separate on me. Let's add a little bit of hot glue right there. And I'm not gonna touch that with my hands. Not gonna touch that with my hands. Okay, I can go back in and cover up any empty spots that we may have on those earmuffs, but perfection takes time. I'm dripping this coffee grounds. That's okay though. This stuff you can't really mess up. I mean, you really can't. An amazing over it. Now it's going to darken it for a minute, okay? It's not going to stay dark. It will dry, and it will have just a little bit of a vintagey tint to the white that we put on there. And it will also have some amazing cinnamon and coffee and vanilla smell. Okay, so it's darkening it for now, but it'll lighten back up once it starts to dry. So don't worry. And if it dries too dark, you can go back over and add some more white. Okay, all right. I do kind of want to darken this up a little bit. Okay, now this is all minor stuff. If you just kind of see how it puts together, how we put it together, you can see where you can kind of add more. Oh, I forgot what I was actually doing in the first place. I'm just going to take this down in here, you guys. I'm going to get really messy, but that's okay. I'm going to dip this down in here, pull it out. I'm going to carefully squeeze out the extra over my jar. This is the quick way. Not necessarily the neat and clean way, but the quick way to grunge it up. All right. Set that over there for a second. Now I'm going to pull it apart, and there we go. We've got it all grunged up. Now this is going to be his scarf. I do want to get his scarf on, and then that'll kind of lead me to where I want to do his mouth. Let's just kind of give this a quick dry. Okay. It's still damp, but that's okay. This is just a torn, ripped piece of homespun. It's going to match his, excuse me, his little earmuffs. Kind of let me see here. I don't want it right up to his nose because remember, I do have to add his little mouth. Okay, I kind of like it just like so. Whoop, there we go. Okay. Now he's looking a little streaky to me, but I think it's because he's still a little bit damp, okay? Now obviously, whew, my eye's itching, sorry. Now obviously everything that we've grunged is still damp, including the material, the fabric, okay? But it will dry, and as it dries, it gets a little stiff. It's kind of gives it like if you were using like cornstarch, if you were ironing something, it kind of gives it that effect. First time watching, Brittany, welcome. Hey, Miss Kim from Sugar in the South. I'll have to find out if gourds can be grown in Delaware. Oh, everywhere is singing. Now, I was doing a little bit of reading on gourds. Now, there's all kinds of different varieties, of course, but gourds can almost grow anywhere. And really, they were here, I mean, during primitive times. I mean, not necessarily, maybe not the same variety of a gourd, but they come in all different shapes and sizes. And from what I've read, they're pretty easy to grow. Now, there is quite a bit to the drying process that's like, oh, I don't know if I could ever do that, but it is pretty cool. It is a pretty cool process. All right, now I have some red paint here that I have diluted with some instant coffee that I think smells pretty good. That I think I might use on his buttons. I'm looking at his little scarf though. I'm thinking, does he need a little bit of extra something? And I don't know. I do want to add the pine cones because that's our another little woodsy element that I want to add on there. I'm going to add a little, oh, I love this. I love it. Okay. We're going to add a sprig of some sweet Annie, and I'm telling you guys, this stuff is amazing. Every time I use it, I have so many questions on it. I find it on Amazon, or if you have a local, someone who grows it in your area, or you can even grow it. If you find someone that grows it and they could share some seeds with you, this stuff is super easy to grow on your own. So you need to get you some. That's what I'm saying. You need to get you some. It smells amazing, and it's perfect for primitive style projects like this little guy. This is so hard for me to do backwards, you guys. And I'm so much slower at doing it backwards, so I'm just going to turn it around towards me real quick to give this a tie. I like that little natural element there. And then we will hot glue some little pine cones. Okay. That's not quite laying the way I want it to, but I'm not going to fuss with it a whole lot right this second. Let's get some pine cones on here. I mean, after all, a woodland snowman has to have some pine cones. I don't know how well that glue is going to stick to my fabric since it's wet, but we'll see. We will see. If it falls off, we'll just wait for it to dry and glue it back on there again. Oh, this is really cute. I've got to fix that little earmuff. It's got a little bald spot on it. That's looking so cute. So cute. Okay, now his little mouth. We need some little pebbles. Here's the buttons. Let's go ahead. Should we do the buttons? Let's go ahead and let's do these buttons real quick. And then we can do the pebbles. We can put his little mouth on last. And he doesn't even have to have a mouth, honestly. He could be we see all kinds of snowmen. His little scarf may be covering his mouth. Use your imagination. All right, I just have some red craft paint that I have mixed in with some instant coffee. Actually, I poured in a little bit of my grunge mix into some red craft paint, and it gives this red a real earthy color. That's what I'm putting on these little buttons that I formed out of Model Magic, you guys. Now, is it a mess? Yes. I should have brought my paper plates over here. I just was like, as a project unfolds, sometimes you just can never think of everything. That's the way it's folding today. Let's give this a little bit of a dry. I will probably have to do another coat on those. While those are drying, let's take a little bit of some, let's see here. Let's take a little bit of black craft paint and put on our paper towel here. And it's going to dilute it. I just kind of want to go over these little pebbles that I'm going to use maybe for his mouth, and if I don't, I don't. I just have an old lid right here that I put these little Model Magic. I just made some tiny little circles, some tiny little balls. That's what I'm going to use for the pebbles for his mouth. And I'm just going to coat them with a little bit of black paint, and hopefully they cooperate. Okay. And I'm just going to roll around. I'm making a mess, but you guys can be way neater and cleaner than I am. When you're on a time crunch and you're doing a project, something kind of outside of the box, sometimes it can't always be, it's not always a perfect run through. Okay, I see some little spots that I didn't get. Where I'm getting black paint all over me, you guys. Okay. I didn't want to like drown them in paint because then they would take too long to dry. So that's kind of why I wanted to just kind of dab them. All right, I'm gonna get that paint off of me before I get it on something else. All right. Now these little buttons, these are so cute. And this heat may not be mixing real well with the clay. I think you just have to let it air dry. But I want to show you what these look like. Now, look at the coloration of that. Oh, dropped it. Hold on. I love, like, it looks like a little watercolor look. Now, I don't know if you can see the little buttonholes on it. There you go. Isn't that not cute? It looks like a little fabric button almost. And it's going to match, the color of his scarf with that little vintage color. I missed a little speck, so I was just covering that up. All right, so we're going to use hot glue, and we're going to glue these right down his belly. And then I've got a cute little heart that I wanted to put on here. We'll see if we get time. Okay. I gotta check my time here. Oh, we got 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Oh, this is looking so cute. I can't stand it. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay. Now, I'm gonna have to speed through that little heart, that if I want to add his heart. But I'm gonna add his little mouth real quick though, you guys. If we don't get to the heart, I'll add it to him and show you on the picture that I posted on my page later. This is super sweet. These are just little Model Magic. Don't want to touch that. It almost got me. A dab will do ya. Now, if you paint, you could totally paint on his little facial features. I will probably say that on his eyes, what I'll probably do, glue strings, is I will probably go into those eyes and add a little bit of a diluted brown, or just to kind of deepen the look of those eyes, because I really want them to show out. I may even give him a little bit of an eyebrow on each eye to kind of add some more character to it. But I'll probably use like a fine tip Sharpie to add that. Something small. I don't know if I like that mouth or not, you guys, but I think I could pop it off there pretty easy if I don't. I kind of liked him without the mouth. I think I like the mouth with, or without it with the mouth. Okay, so real quick, I have a little heart shape. Oh, I've got to add his little branches for his arms. Hot dog, you guys. We're not going to have enough time to add his little arms. I'll have to add those, and you'll have to come back and see them. His little branches for his arms. I'll glue those on. I want you to see this little heart, though, because I have the cutest little saying I want to put on it. I'm going to add this little... we got 3 minutes. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. All right. We can do it. My foam brushes have all disappeared. There's one. I'm going to add a little bit of Mod Podge. I have just drawn a little heart shape on a piece of cardstock. And on the back side of it, I'm going to Mod Podge a piece of material, same material that we're using all on this little snowman guy. And then I'm going to cut it out. We're going to coffee grunge it, and this is going to go, I'm going to actually hang it, and it's going to look like he's holding it from his little arms when I add the arms. But I wanted you to see what this is going to look like, the little heart, because we can all kind of envision the little arms. But this little heart, let's give it a little bit of a grunge. And that just deepens that color, okay? And then I have some torn little strips of, you could add some drop cloth, or you can use muslin, whatever you want. I'm going to Mod Podge these 2 little strips that have the words cold twigs, warm heart. And I just hand wrote those on there so that it looks kind of tattered. Whew. I'm telling you, these glue strands have got me everywhere. And I kind of want them kind of wonky. I'm going to have to hot glue it, I think. And it's kind of wet, so it's not going to stick real well. Okay. So I'm going to grunge up the edges of that heart. Is that not cute? We might just glue that right there or over here. I could just hang it off as a little tag on his side, but I kind of wanted his little arms to wrap around and look like he was holding this. So I don't know. I don't know. Is that not cute? I think that's going to turn out so cute. So I will attach that and add his arms, and I'll be sure to post a picture here on my page of My Sweet Home Living. Thank you guys so much for having me today. You all enjoy the rest of this event. Crafted Mom Corner Market is coming up next. You can find her live over in the Chuffed Berry Circle or in the Craft on the Clock group for today's and tomorrow's event. You guys have a wonderful time, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.